Jackie, and today we are going to be drawing a chameleon. Start with this chameleon's eye, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw a little circle for his eye, and then we are going to draw another circle around it. Now if you have room and you want to get really detailed, you can draw a little circle inside. That is going to represent the light that reflects on the chameleon's eye in a few minutes. Okay, our next step is we are going to make a rainbow arch over our chameleon's eye. And I didn't do the whole eye, just part of it. Now I'm going to continue this arch, but I am going to go down, 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 a straight line. I don't want to go too far. The next step is we're going to be making the front of the chameleon's face. And I'm going to make kind of a little squiggly line that goes around. And I'm going to make it, that's kind of part of his nose. It just kind of squiggles around. Right now it almost looks like a beak on a bird. I'm going to connect this, and I'm going to do like a letter U around, 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 and I'm going to connect it to that line that I made down. Draw part of the chameleon's mouth, and so I am going to draw not like a happy face, but a line that's a little bit happy, but I'm going to stop by his eye. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to connect it down to the corner where my lines met before. So we've got a big part of our chameleon's head finished. My next step is I'm going to do the part around the chameleon's head, which is really pretty and really cool looking. So it kind of has an arch up and around. So I'm going to do, probably from the middle of that rainbow that we did, I'm going to kind of make a line that goes up, 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 and over, and I'm going to curve it just a little bit. Now I'm going to continue my line that I had here, and I'm going to go down, 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 down just a little bit and hook it like a backwards J, is to connect those two lines. So I'm going to curve it around all the way down to my fish hook. You want to know something really cool about chameleons? Their eyes can swivel, so they can look at two different things at the same time. So they swivel around. Try to look at two different things at the same time. Can you do it? It's kind of hard. All right, the next thing I'm going to draw is the back of my chameleon. And I'm going to make it pretty big. I'm going to make it go all the way around my paper and curve up, because it's actually going to be his back and his tail. So I'm going to make a big arch that goes all the way, and I'm going to keep going almost to the edge of my paper, and I'm going to make a little swirl that goes up and over. Now you don't want to do it too fast because it could be messy, so you want to go slow and steady. I went all the way around like a big rainbow, and then I came around like a little swirl circle. Now this part down here is my chameleon's tail. So what I'm going to do is I want that to come back up, but I don't want to go all the way back up. So I'm going to make it go a little bit further because I wanted it to go a little bit further. So now I'm going to do an arch at the edge of the tail. So I'm bringing it all the way around, and I'm going to go really close, and it's like I'm going to copycat my line. But if it gets a little bit bigger as your tail goes up, that's okay. And I'm going to stop it right about there. I don't want to go all the way back up because it's just my tail. So I made a curved arch, and I did a copycat line around my swirl all the way to there. What we're going to do next is we're going to draw our chameleon's legs. So I'm going to leave some blank space. So it's going to be silly. We'll connect it in a minute. I'm going to make a line. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to make a line that goes down, not too far, and one on the other side, kind of like a V, but I'm not going to let them touch. So I'm going to make it go down and down. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, closer to my tail. I'm going to make an angled line at a diagonal and another diagonal line like I would do a V, but I'm not going to connect it all the way. My next step is to finish my leg. So I'm going to make this go down a little bit further and down a little bit further, and now I'm going to switch my direction. I'm going to make it go to the side, and that almost looks like arrowhead But this one I'm not going to make go out that way. I'm going to make it follow this line. I'm going to make it copycat this line. So it's going to kind of go around. So it's like his leg is bending. And I want to do the bottom of his feet, and it's just going to be a little curve over. And if your foot looks a little different than mine, that's okay. And if you can guess, we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to make my line a little bit longer. I'm going to make it go the other way, like an arrow. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make my little foot, and I'm going to connect it back up to my other line. We can connect the body of our chameleon. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to draw a line to this leg. And if it doesn't quite go to the edge, that's okay, because that makes it look a little bit more 3D, like his leg is coming out. And I'm going to pretend that I kept drawing, but I'm not going to draw through his leg, and I'm going to draw another line. And I bet you could guess, I'm going to take this last line, and I'm going to connect it to the tail. Now, a chameleon doesn't just have 2 legs, he has 4 legs, but his other legs are behind. And we're going to make our chameleon like he's climbing in a tree. So we're going to make it 3D. First, we're going to draw our branch of our tree or our stick before we do his other legs. Did you know that a chameleon has a lightning fast tongue? That it can flash his tongue out 26 times the length of his body. So this is one body. Imagine that 26 times to get an insect. So his tongue goes so far. Now we're going to draw our tree. So the bottom of our feet are going to be at the bottom of the tree. So I am going to draw a line that goes out. And notice it didn't go at the bottom of the leg. So I'm going to also draw another line that connects to this one. And if your line's not straight, that's okay, because it's a stick, and sticks aren't straight. And I'm going to continue that line, and I'm going to go all the way past his tail. And remember, I don't want to go on top of the tail or on top of the foot, because then it won't look correct. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a copycat, and I am going to make this one a little bit squiggly because it's a tree, and it's going to look more like wood on the branch. I'm going to go all the way to the edge of my paper. Now I didn't do this here because I want my tree branch to kind of branch out. Like when we made our stems of our flowers last week, they went different directions. I want to do that here too. So I'm going to make this a diagonal line, and yours can be different than mine. You can make your branch look however you want. And I'm going to do a diagonal line this way, and I'm going to kind of copycat my lines and make them go in. So it looks like my branch branches out. I'll need to add his other legs in the back, and they're on the back side. So I'm not going to do two parts of a V again. I'm just going to kind of do a line that goes down and stops right there because it's on the other side of my branch. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And if you want to kind of arch it again, you can. Now the next thing we want to add is on the top of our chameleon, he has something called a dorsal crest. It almost looks like spikes that you would see on a dinosaur. Because did you know lizards are related to dinosaurs? It's like their great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. So these little lines are just like triangle tops on the chameleon's back. And as you go down, they kind of start to change shape a little bit, and they kind of get a little bit smaller. If you want to keep going all the way down your tail, you can, but you don't have to. One of the coolest parts about a chameleon is that they are so full of colors. They have tons and tons and tons of colors on them. So when we do our next step, which is to add our details, you can add details how you want. I'm going to fast forward while I add my details, and after I have fast forwarded, you guys can pause it, look at my details, and decide which ones you might want to do also. Did you know that the panther chameleon actually changes its color to yellow or red when it's angry? So when you color, if you make a yellow or a red chameleon, it might be an angry chameleon. Now notice all of these designs that I'm doing. These are kind of representing the scales of the chameleon. And all of this can be different colors because chameleons change color so much. And the scales, the designs, the bumpy, rough texture, if you've ever touched a lizard, they're kind of rough but slimy. That's how chameleons are too. So all of this is just going to represent different colors. While you're working, I want to pause it and I'm going to show you a video that I made with 5th grade when we were talking about one of the principles and elements of design and art, which was emphasis. So we had to zoom in on animals' eyes, and I chose to make a chameleon's eye. So while you're adding your details, I want you to watch. You can see the chameleon's eye that I decided to draw and all the details on it. Now, this week I decided to do something different. Before I color it, I'm going to go ahead and label it. But I love my drawing so much, I didn't want to write on this. So I got some little pieces of paper and I labeled them different parts of my animal. So for my first part, it says tail. Where should I put that? If you guessed right here, you are correct. So I am going to put tail right there. And if you want to write it on your paper, you absolutely can. Or you can put it on another piece of paper. My next label says eye. You guessed right here, you are correct. That is my eye. My next one says scaly skin. And I'm going to lay that right here because that's really the body of my animal. My next label says head. And you were correct if you guessed that this was the head. Now the head has a lot of parts. It's got the eye. I didn't make a label for this, but that's the mouth where his tongue comes out. Very good. Next I have my leg. Anyone know where the leg is? You are correct if you said here. We have 4 legs. Now my last one is super, super hard, but I said it earlier. It is called the dorsal crest. Does anyone remember where this super hard label should go? It is a really cool special part of our chameleon. If you guessed up here, you are correct. This is our dorsal crest. It's the scaly part that kind of looks like a dinosaur. I have my labels here right now, and again, you could write it on your paper, absolutely. Or you could do what I did and write them on little pieces and stick them on or put some tape. But I'm going to move them right now, and I'm going to color. And when it's all finished, I'll put them back so you guys can see where they go. Before I color, I want to remind you, remember, chameleons can be so many different colors. I'm going to show you a couple pictures now. When you guys color, I want you to get creative. I'm going to make mine super colorful and fun. Thank you guys so much for making a chameleon with me. I hope you had a blast and had fun, and you have made a beautiful picture.